morning, children. So today we are going to discuss note making. In a reading section, this is the second question which carries 8 marks. Before I discuss the method of making an effective note, I must let you know the distribution of marks first. So this question carries, you will be given a passage. The passage will consist of about 500 words. It will carry 8 marks. For note making, you will have 4 marks. 4 marks for note making, and the division of 4 marks is 1 for title, see it carefully, 2 for content, and 1 for abbreviation. Clear? Once again I do repeat, 1 for title, 2 for content, and 1 for abbreviation. That is called TCA. Under these 3 headings, your 4 marks will be divided, and the rest 4 marks will be for summary writing. See, summary, 4 marks, and the division will be 2 marks for content and 2 for expression. By content I mean the relevant facts, the relevant ideas, how coherently you put them in the form of summary will constitute content. The next is expression. In expression, your grammatical errors, basically your grammatical errors will be taken into consideration. So, the summary, 4 marks of summary will also be divided in 2 heads, that is content and expression. The 4 marks of note making will also be divided in 3 parts, 1 for title, 2 for content, and 1 for abbreviation. Now, let's come to the point. What is a note making? Why do we need to make a note? These are the primary questions which must be coming in your mind. What is a note making? Why to go for making a note? So note making is actually a process of reviewing, connecting, and synthesizing ideas from a lecture or a reading. Whatever you read or whatever you listen, at the time of reading or listening, there are some points which seem to you very much important. There are some points which seem to be of less importance to you, and many times you want to put them in a certain format, you want to put them with you so that you could review it or see it whenever you need. So every time it is not very much convenient to go through the passage, or every time it is not possible to listen to the lecture that you have listened to once. So, in order to fulfill these requirements, a note making is needed. And this is why it is said that it is a process of reviewing, connecting and synthesizing. What do you mean? These 2 words are known to you. synthesizing. Synthesizing means to put many ideas or different ideas in a coherent whole. To put many ideas or different ideas in this context. This synthesizing means to put many ideas or different ideas in a coherent whole. So the word is coherent, C-O-H-E-R-E-N-T, coherent. I think you must be aware of these words. In my other classes also I have talked about this word coherence. So coherence means interconnectivity. Interconnectivity. This is coherence. So the facts, the ideas that you are putting in a specified format, in a definite format, whether they are interlinked or they appear to be like patches, this is called coherence. There must be a coherence. So, note making is a process of reviewing, connecting and synthesizing ideas from a lecture, whatever you listen to, or a piece of writing or a given passage whatsoever it is. It aims at concentrating on what you are reading, watching or hearing. That is very much clear. It involves reading and listening critically. Because the moment you listen to something or somebody, the moment you read a piece, and if you aim at making a note, that reading or that listening automatically becomes critical. This is why it is said that an effective note maker is one who is an efficient listener. If you are not an efficient listener, you cannot be an effective note maker. So now, what you have to do for making a note? I must tell you, you will have to follow a definite format for that. See, for making a note, first of all, that you are supposed to do is that you should read the passage. Because in examination you will be given a passage. At present, let us be concentrated to a passage only. In examination you will not be asked or you will not be given an audio to listen to and make note. There you will have a passage, and that passage will be of about 500 words. So, the first step is that you have to read the passage thoroughly to get a gist of the passage. By gist you mean the main idea, the substance, the extract of the passage. So first of all, you just go on reading the passage thoroughly without stopping for the difficult words or difficult phrases that come across you. रुकना नहीं है, एकदम लगातार just go on reading. The second step involves that after you have gone through the passage, you will have to identify the central idea, the central theme of the passage. Thereafter, or you can say what the passage is about. Thereafter, the third step involves the noting down of important points which are relevant to the main theme. Clear? थर्ड स्टेप में जो मेन थीम हमने आइडेंटिफाई किया है उससे रिलेटेड जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स वहां पैराग्राफ वाइज, एंड मेनी टाइम्स इन वन पैराग्राफ यू विल फाइंड two main points, there may be so, it may be so. So you have to identify the important points relevant to the main theme. Thereafter, those main points will be supported by the sub-points that you have to look for in that passage. Again, sub-points can also be included if needed. That I will let you know in the format how it is written. There is also a need of abbreviation. In examination, you will be asked to write 4 abbreviations. In note, the abbreviations have a definite place, and those abbreviations which you are putting down in the right of your note must be used somewhere in the main points or sub points. Remember, जो भी abbreviation आप यहाँ लिख रहे हो इसको main points या sub points में जरूर used होना चाहिए. Clear? Now see the format that you have to follow. Before I let you know the format, let me read out a question which comes in your examination. And in the light of that question, see what are the things which we need to do. Listen carefully. On the basis of your reading of the above passage, you will be given a passage. And after the passage, number 1 question will be 1A. On the basis of your reading of the above passage, make a note in points. Make a note in points. See, in points, using heading and subheadings. Also use suitable abbreviations, minimum 4. In bracket it is written minimum 4. So abbreviations. The second thing is abbreviations. The second thing is abbreviations. 1B, question number 1B will be write a summary of the passage in not more than 80 words. So these are the 2 questions. Now, in the light of these 2 questions, first of all, I am going to make you familiar with the format that you are expected to adopt while making a note. What you have to do for making a note, you are well familiar with that. Read the passage once without stopping for difficult words or anything which difficult which come in your way. Then in the second step is to mark the important points, the sub-important points or the points related to that important points. Thereafter, if you need, the sub points can also be marked. If you wish to, you can mark those areas which are not necessary to be included in your note. So these are the techniques. It doesn't have any fixed rule. These are the techniques that you are expected to adopt. After that, now how the points or sub-points are written. See, on the top you have to see, leave one. This is a place for title. It carries 1 mark. And see, for title you need not go or you need not bother much about the title. Because after completing the note, thorough and part will have gone through the passage at least 2 or 3 times. So in the meantime, many titles will be coming and going, will be taking place in your, better to say, many titles will be coming and going in your mind. So you have to select one of these titles which best suits the passage, which is very much relevant to the passage, which is brief and suggestive in itself. So you need not give extra time for this title. Leave the place for that. And after the title, now see, for example, now this one is for main heading, number 1. Now how will the subheading, or if you call it main points, the sub points are written like this: 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, if needed 1.5. See, the passage which you are concerned with, or the passage which is going to be come in your consideration, must be divided at least main points. See, main points at least 2 and maximum 5. Likewise, sub points also at least 2 or maximum 5, or you can go to 6 even. But you need not go for 6. 5 is enough. So main points or main heading minimum 2, maximum 5. And sub points or subheading minimum 2, maximum 5. So you have, so this is the way I have written. You can write it in another way. If you give here 1, you can write A, B, C, D if you wish to. It's your choice. You can also use Roman 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, second, this one is this one is second point. Now it will go like this: 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. See, the third is suppose main point. Now the sub point will go like this: 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, if needed 3.4. You can write ABCDL, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4 also. But just adopt one way which seems most suitable and convenient to you. See, one main point, these are for sub points. If you wish to include sub point, for example, if 1.4 has a sub point, it can be written like this. थोड़ा सा इस लाइन से इधर हटकर 1.4.1, 1.4.2. It will be written like this. Here, suppose in this point, if 2.4 or 2.3 has a sub point, you can write like this: 2.3.1, 2.3.2, and then again 2.4. ये इस लाइन में होगा, और सब पॉइंट जो होगा वो राइट हैंड साइड में थोड़ा सा राइट हैंड साइड में, so that it can be recognized easily, it can be identified easily. Am I clear to you? Okay. So this is the way in which you have to put your note. So this is the format: main point, sub point, again if needed sub point, if not leave that. To again main point, and this one is for Now, where to put the abbreviations? The abbreviations used, I have already told you that the abbreviation which you are just listing at one place in the right hand side of your note, they must be used somewhere in main points or sub points in your note. So here you can write key to abbreviation. You can write like this. You can make a small rectangular box in order to see key to, you will write key to abbreviations. So number one, you have to suppose here in your passage you have, in your note you have used the word pollution. For example, pollution. For example, you have used the word pollution. You can सबसे पहले इसको एब्रिविएशन करने के लिए या तो शुरू का 3 लेटर अगर वो साउंड कम्युनिकेट कर रहा है तो ठीक है, और नहीं तो ये दूसरा तरीका है सीरीज कि जो भी डबल लेटर्स होंगे या जो वॉवेल लेटर होगा उसको हम हटा देंगे, और बाकी जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल PLTN ये बच गया पोल्यूशन। दूसरा फॉर एग्जाम्पल देखो ornament. For example, suppose this word has been used in your note, तो NAE। अब दूसरी बात मैंने ऊपर कहा कि you have to omit the vowel, but if the initial letter is vowel, you need not omit it, क्योंकि तो साउंड चला जाएगा उससे ना, you have to communicate the sound at least। तो ये हो गया URNT। This is your abbreviation, this type of abbreviation। तो इसको यहां हम लाएंगे, जैसे यहां पहले लिखेंगे PLTN, the second is ORNT। see now the full word pollution। here you can write abbreviations or either abbreviated words। So likewise third and fourth, whatever you do, यहां से जो भी वर्ड लो और उसका एप्लीकेशन या तो शुरू का 3 लेटर देकर या vowels को हटा करके except the initial vowels you can do like this। Now this is your note। Now let's come to the second point, that is summary writing। Now for summary writing you need not go in detail, remember, because so far you have gone through the passage 2 or 3 times, so you need not go for the summary in detail। you have to develop this note in points, the main points and the sub points। remember, the main points and the sub points are to be kept in the form of points, not complete sentence। avoid writing complete sentences, you have to make points, means the auxiliary verbs, the determinants, the adjectives, the adverbs, the other parts of the speech should be omitted, provided that their omission does not hamper the meaning of the point। इसको याद रखना है कि सबको हटाएंगे, लेकिन ये ध्यान रहे कि इसका नंबर जो है वो कभी भी मीनिंग जो है वो हैम्पर न करे, मीनिंग वो हम कम्युनिकेट कर पाए। सो द मेन पॉइंट्स एंड सब पॉइंट्स आर टू बी पुट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पॉइंट्स। So now for summary writing you need only to develop these points and sub points, but see, keep in mind that if you generally it is seen that if you develop the points and sub points, what happens? that the word limit crosses and you are expected to be under word limit. You are expected to maintain the word limit. So now we have to see which important points should be included and which should be excluded in your summary. So it completely depends upon your regular and consistent practice. If you do regular and consistent practice, you can be able to do these things. You will have an idea which points to be developed. You will have a concept which points should be included and which should be excluded in your summary. And in this way, after the summary ends, here you will have to write words used 75 or 78 or 80 whatsoever. जो भी आपका होता है आप वहाँ बिल्कुल क्लियर कर देंगे. So this is your note making. Apart from that, I must tell you that it solely depends upon your practice. You are expected to go through a passage. You have different passages in your sample papers or on the site of the CBSE or different other sites. You go through a passage, you make notes, and thereafter if any difficulty comes in your way, please contact. So this is your note making. Thank you.